@NCERT video welcomes you. Today we are going to start Chapter 9 Methods of Separation in Everyday Life. Let's start Chapter 9 Methods of Separation in Everyday Life. साधु ऐसा चाहिए जैसा सूप सुभाए, सार सार को गही रहे, थोथा दई उड़ाए. Kabir. Just like winnowing makes the husk blow away while retaining the grains, similarly, sages let the virtues stay while discarding the vices. Kabir. Malli and his sister Valli are excited for their summer vacations. Their parents have planned a trip to visit their relatives and friends living across India. They always stay in touch with their relatives and friends. Do you also keep in touch with your loved ones? Their first halt is at their nanny's, that is, maternal grandmother's house in Haryana. It is surrounded by large fields. Malli and Valli are fascinated by variety of grains piled up in the courtyard. Their mommy, maternal aunt, and mama, maternal uncle, along with other community members, are busy separating small stones and husks from the grains with their hands. Malli and Valli are curious to know why this is being done. Their nanny notices their curiosity and explains, "We are removing these stones so that the grains are fit for cooking." They go around the house to see the fields and the cattle. To keep them busy, Nani gives them a challenge of hand picking small stones from grains while keeping their eyes closed. The method of picking by hand from a mixture when two or more substances are mixed, such as small stones and husks from wheat and rice, is called hand picking. It is done on the basis of difference in size, color, and shape of the particles. If the particles to be removed are present in small quantities and can easily be picked by hand picking proves to be a convenient method. At lunch, Malli and Valli are served steaming hot vegetable pulao. While eating the pulao, Nani observes that Malli is separating the whole black peppers from the pulao and is placing them aside on his plate. Figure 9.1. Figure 9.1. Hand picking. Valli playfully teases, "Wow, this is a hand picking method. Nice one." Nani tells them about the benefits of black pepper and encourages Malli to eat it. Later in the day, their mama takes them to the fields where they observe bundles of harvested wheat stalks laying in the fields. Some stalks are spread in the sun for drying. Both of them pick up a stalk each and notice numerous grains attached to it. A group of farmers are beating the stalks on a large wooden log. Curiously, Valli asks Mama, "Why are they doing this?" Mama explains, "They are beating the stalks to separate the grains." Figure 9.2. Figure 9.2 Threshing. This process of separating grains from stalks is known as threshing. Farmers work hard and they enjoy their work. From time to time, they sing folk songs while working. Have fun while you learn. Explore folk songs of your region and try to sing along with your friends. The separated grains get mixed with piles of husk. Wali whispers to Malli, will the farmer hand pick the grains to remove them from so much husk? She wonders, how much time will the farmers take to separate these? Let us perform an activity to find out the answer to the questions raised by Valli. A question for you. A small amount of puffed rice is mixed with chana dal. Can you think of separating the mixture by any method other than hand picking? Activity 9.1. Let us explore. Take a handful of rounded peanuts and rub them between your palms. What happens? Is it possible to separate the removed skin of the peanuts? Now try blowing it. What do you observe? Which of these components, removed peanut skins or peanuts, are blown away? You observe that blowing air separates the heavier and lighter components. How do you think farmers separate so many grains from husk? Traditionally, a shoe, that is, bamboo tray, is used for separating heavier and lighter components of a mixture. Figure 9.3. Next day, their Nana takes them to the fields to show this process at work. Malli and Valli observe a farmer standing on a raised platform. The farmer is moving the bamboo tray, which contains threshed wheat grains, in the direction of air or wind. Figure 9.4. Figure 9.4. Winnowing. Direction of air or wind. Soup or bamboo tray. Husk. Grains. What do you infer from figure 9.4? Do both the components, wheat grains and husk, all at the same place? Which of the two components get blown away? Can the wind separate the two components? This method of separating heavier and lighter components of a mixture by wind or by blowing air is called winnowing. Have you seen any similar kind of activity being done at your home? Valli is unable to separate husk from rice in a closed room. How can you help her? More to know. Technological developments have resulted in developing of threshing machines called threshers. These machines are used for separating grains from the stalks and husks. They perform both the task of threshing and winnowing simultaneously. Next day, Malli and Valli board a train to Ahmedabad to visit their father's friends Ghanshyam Bhai. Before leaving, Valli requested her mommy to prepare meethi puri, that is, sweet Indian bread made from wheat flour for their journey. Valli, shall I help you knead the wheat flour? Mami, to prepare a dish with flour, first we need to remove bran that may be present in the flour. Valli, how do we do it? Mami, we use a sieve for this purpose. Sieving allows the fine flour particles to pass through the holes of the sieve as shown in figure 9.5. Figure 9.5 Sieving. The bigger particles such as bran and small stones remain on the sieve. Carefully observe a sieve. Are all the holes of the sieve the same size? Will sieving work if the holes of the sieve are larger than the substances? Is there any difference in the size between the particles that pass through the sieve and the particles that remain on the sieve? Sieving is used when components of a solid-solid mixture have different sizes. Upon reaching Ahmedabad, they visit Sabarmati Ashram along with Ghanshyam Bhai, where they learn about the Namak Satyagraha, that is Dandi March. More to do. What is Sabarmati Ashram famous for? Draw a poster showing Dandi March and discuss why it was organized. Have you ever observed sieves being used at construction sites to separate pebbles and stones from the sand? Malli asks, where is namak, that is common salt, obtained from? From seawater, replies Ghanshyam Bhai. Seawater is a mixture of salts and some other substances dissolved in water. To obtain salt, the seawater is kept in shallow pits and exposed to sunlight and air. In a few days, the water evaporates completely, leaving behind the solid mixture. Figure 9.6. Common salt is then obtained from this mixture by further purification. Figure 9.6 Obtaining salt from seawater. More to do. Find out about some water bodies in India that contain common salt. One such source is Sambar Lake in Rajasthan. Let us explore how salt can be separated from a salt solution. Activity 9.2. Let us observe and create. Take a bowl or any container and fill it half with water. Add 2 to 3 teaspoons of salt into it and stir till the salt dissolves to form a solution. Take a small piece of black or dark colored thick paper and spread a few drops of the salt solution on it. Figure 9.7a. Figure 9.7. A few drops of salt solution spread on thick black paper. A. Before drying. B. After drying. C. Art created. You can also create any art of your choice with this salt solution. Allow it to dry and then observe it. Figure 9.7b and figure 9.7c. Do you observe some patches on the paper? What do you think is left on the paper? You can feel the presence of salt by touching the paper. Where has the water disappeared? Recall the chapter on a journey through states of water. Let us prove further to get the answer. Have you ever observed white patches on the dark colored clothes you wear during hot summers? How are these patches formed? Do you know? In the traditional Indian system of holistic health and medicine called Ayurveda, the herbs or parts of plants are prescribed as remedies. These ingredients, like roots, leaves, flowers, or seeds of various medicinal plants, are often dried in the shade. This practice facilitates the evaporation of excess water, leaving behind the important part of the medicine. Activity 9.3. Let us investigate. This activity may be demonstrated by the teacher. Take some salt solution prepared in activity 9.2 in a china dish. If a china dish is not available, another suitable vessel may be used. Heat and let the water boil away as shown in figure 9.8. Figure 9.8. Heating of china dish containing salt solution. You can see china dish, wire gauze, spirit lamp. Allow the china dish to cool. What do you observe? What is left in the china dish? Caution: be careful while heating the china dish. Did you get the salt back? You can feel the presence of salt in the china dish by touching the salt with your fingers. Malli asks, is there any method through which I can get back both salt and water? Observe the figure. Does it answer the question? Can you name the process involved? It is now time for them to visit Dada and Dadi, that is paternal grandparents, residing in Puducherry, located in southern India. Malli and Valli are excited to meet their old neighborhood friend Balan. After reaching Puducherry, they started talking about old times and do not realize that it is already evening, Dadiji's tea time. Dada, I shall prepare tea for you. Children, we will also help you. As Dada makes the tea, he shares tip on how to make a cup of tea. Balan, after preparing tea, how do you remove the tea leaves? Dada, obviously with a strainer. You know, if we do not have a strainer, we can still remove most of the tea leaves. Valli, how? Dada, leave the saucepan, that is vessel, containing tea undisturbed for some time and gently pour the tea in a cup. Figure 9.9. Figure 9.9. Decantation. You can see tea leaves. Valli. Oh yes. And then the tea leaves will be settled at the bottom. The process of settling down the heavier insoluble component at the bottom of a liquid is called sedimentation. When the water or liquid is removed by tilting the vessel, the process is called decantation. Malli thinks, oh, decantation is also used in washing and cleaning of rice and pulses. In the chapter Materials Around Us, you have studied that oil does not mix with water and forms a separate layer when left undisturbed for some time. Which method of separation would you use to separate oil and water? Dada, but I can still get a few tea leaves in my mouth because decantation does not completely separate all the tea leaves from the tea. Balan. Oh, it means it is not a proper method of separation. Dada, yes, you are right. The tea is ready now. Malli picks up the tea strainer from the shelf and gives it to his Dada. Dada, let me pour tea through this strainer. You can see all the tea leaves collected in the strainer. This process of separating tea leaves from tea is called filtration. Balan asked Malli if he could use a tea strainer to filter muddy water. Let us try and find out. Dada, also try to filter the muddy water through a piece of cloth and observe the difference. Malli, why should we use a piece of cloth? Dada, in a piece of cloth there are very small holes or pores between the woven threads. These pores in the cloth can be used as a filter. People of ancient times also followed this practice. Valli thinks, how many layers of cloth do I need to use to get clear water? But if the water is still muddy, impurities can be separated using a filter with even smaller holes or pores. A filter paper is one such filter that has very fine pores in it. Activity 9.4. Let us experiment. Try to fold the filter paper yourself and make a cone as shown in figure 9.10. Figure 9.10. Folding a filter paper to form a cone. A filter paper, one fold, two folds, cone. Place it inside a funnel kept on a conical flask and pour muddy water into it. Figure 9.11. Figure 9.11. Filtration. Filter paper, funnel. Muddy water, tripod stand, conical flask. What do you observe? Do the mud particles pass through the filter paper? The water coming from the funnel will be collected in the conical flask. You will get mud as a residue on the filter paper and clear water as filtrate in the conical flask. More to know. Other than the filter paper, many materials such as cotton, charcoal, and sand can be used as filters. The choice of filter depends upon the size of particles of the materials to be removed. Activity 9.5. Let us design and create. Valli goes for a nature walk with her dadi and collects some water from a pond in a container. She observes some unwanted substances in it. Design and create a working model of water filter using low-cost materials. Do you know tea bags were initially made of soft cloth like silk because it could hold the tea leaves and let water pass through. Silk was strong and did not fall apart when it touched hot water. Later, people started using gauze or muslin. Eventually, they began using filter paper, which is what most tea bags are made of today. Malli and Valli go on boat ride in a nearby river with their dada and his friend Otukkam. Otukkam is a fisherman. As they cast the fishing net, water drains out through the mesh. Valli recalls the filtration method she had learnt and realizes that this method of catching the fish is somewhat similar. Malli is taken aback when he saw plastic bags, broken bottles, a large fish with a straw stuck in its mouth, and food wrappers along with the other fish trapped in the net. Let us raise awareness about the issues of river and ocean pollution by composing a poem. A few lines have been written here. Add more lines. Piece of plastic in my neck, as in pain I cry, Koilas, Koilas, where are you dear? Papa fish cries and Mama fish has tears. Aware of the harm, yet they let it flow. Koilas faintly hears mother's sorrow. Stop plastic pollution at source. Rivers are our huge resource. Discuss with your parents. A bowl of milk in your home has gone sour. Discuss with your parents how you can use it in another way. Also, which method of separation will you use in the process? Malli and Valli take blessings from their Dada and Dadi, bid goodbye to Balan, and travel to Madhya Pradesh. The train reaches Bhopal in Madhya Pradesh. The sun is rising and it is getting hot. On their way to Mausi's, that is maternal aunt's home, they drink chach, that is buttermilk, in the dhaba, that is roadside eatery. Malli asks the shopkeeper about the big painting hanging on the wall of the dhaba. The shopkeeper explains that the picture shows a lady performing the process of churning curd using a big mathani or churner to separate butter. In this process, the butter being lighter floats at the top while the buttermilk is left behind. You can see churning here. Malli asks, can you name one kitchen appliance which runs on electricity that is used to prepare buttermilk? Their stay at Mossy's place has become enjoyable and they are looking forward to share all their memories with their friends upon returning home. Now it is time for them to reach their final destination of the trip, Shillong, the capital of Meghalaya. On their arrival at Bua's, that is paternal aunt's house in Shillong, they notice a carpenter making a wooden door. While working, he accidentally drops a few iron nails in the sawdust. The carpenter starts hand-picking the iron nails. The children tell the carpenter to wait. They get a magnet from their bua. They ask the carpenter to move the magnet through the sawdust. All the nails get attached to it. Figure 9.12. Figure 9.12 Magnetic separation. Which method of separation did the carpenter use? Recall the chapter on exploring magnets. The substances which are attracted towards a magnet are called magnetic substances. Iron is a common example of a magnetic substance. Separation of magnetic and non-magnetic substances by using magnet is called magnetic separation. More to know. Nowadays, recyclers use magnets to separate iron articles from a heap of waste. In many industries, the waste material often contains scrap iron. In many industries, the waste material often contains scrap iron. This is separated from the heap of waste materials using magnets fitted on a crane. The scrap iron can be recycled and reused. You can see magnetic separation here. Malli and Valli had delightful holidays and the Bharat Ki Yatra tour of India, filled with fun, will be a everlasting memory for them. They not only enjoyed exploring different regions of India but also gained a lot of knowledge about various methods of separation of substances. Activity 9.6. Let us play. Write the following phrases on small slips of paper. 1. Separating small stones from pulses. 2. Churning curd to obtain butter. 3. Taking out green chilies from cooked dalia, dish made of cracked wheat. Or poha, dish made of flattened rice. 4. Taking out seeds from watermelon. 6. Picking marigold flowers from a heap of other flowers to make a garland. 7. Separating pebbles from sand. 8. Separating coconut pieces from rice flour. 9. Separating oil from water. 10. Separating salt from salt solution. Now take two baskets each representing one of the two purposes for which we separate substances. Form two teams and see who will get the maximum correct entries. Think and start. First basket, to remove any of the components that is not useful. Second basket, to separate two different but useful components. This activity helps in accessing your understanding as to why we separate substances. Keywords: churning, decantation, evaporation, filtration, hand picking, magnetic separation, mixture, sedimentation, sieving, threshing, winnowing, create, design, experiment, explore, infer, investigate, observe. Summary key points. Hand picking is used for separating solid materials on the basis of differences in size, color and shape from a mixture. The process in which the stalks are beaten to separate grains from them is called threshing. The method of separating lighter husks from heavier grains by wind or blowing air is called winnowing. The process of separating solids from a mixture based on variations in particle size using a sieve is called sieving. Evaporation is the process in which a liquid gets converted into its vapor. It can be used to separate a solid dissolved in a liquid. The process of settling down the heavier insoluble component at the bottom of a liquid is called sedimentation. When the liquid is removed by tilting the vessel, the process is called decantation. Filtration can be used to separate insoluble solid components from a liquid. Churning is used to extract butter from curd. Separation of magnetic and non-magnetic substances by using a magnet is called magnetic separation. Play a game. Wise fish. Prepare your own fishing rod with locally available eco-friendly materials. Tie a thread to one end of the rod and a magnet to the free end of the thread. The tank 1 has red cardboard piece and tank 2 has blue cardboard slips attached to iron clips. Fish out a red fish representing a method of separation first and then fish out one blue slip related to the red one. Watch out for your friends. Are they fishing out correctly? Tank 1. Catch me first. Then me. Tank 2. Let us enhance our learning. 1. What purpose does hand picking serve in the process of separation? 1. Filtration. 2. Sorting. 3. Evaporation. 4. Decantation. 2. Which of the following substances are commonly separated using the churning method? 1. Oil from water. 2. Sand from water. 3. Cream from milk. 4. Oxygen from air. 3. Which factor is usually essential for the filtration? 1. Apparatus size. 2. Presence of air. 3. Pore size. 4. Temperature of the mixture. 4. State with reasons whether the following statements are true T or false F. Also correct the false statements. 1. Salt can be separated from salt solution by keeping it under the sun. 2. Hand picking should be used only when the quantity of one component is less. 3. A mixture of puffed rice and rice grains can be separated by threshing. 4. A mixture of mustard oil and lemon water can be separated by decantation. 5. Sieving is used to separate a mixture of rice flour and water. 5. Match the mixtures in column 1 with their method of separation in column 2. Column 1. 1. Gram flour mixed with black gram. 2. Chalk powder mixed with water. 3. Corn mixed with potatoes. 4. Iron powder mixed with sawdust. 5. Oil mixed with water. Column 2. A. Hand picking. B. Magnetic separation. C. Decantation. D. Sieving. E. Filtration. 6. In what situations would you use decantation instead of filtration to separate solids from liquids? 7. Can you relate the presence of nasal hair to any separation process? 8. During the COVID-19 pandemic, all of us wore masks. Generally, what material are they made of? What is the role of these masks? 9. A mixture containing potatoes, salt and sawdust has been given to you. Outline a stepwise procedure for separating each component from this mixture. Read the following story titled Intelligent Leela and tick the most appropriate options. Provide a suitable title of your choice for the paragraph. Leela was working in the farm with her father when she realized that they had left their drinking water at home. Before her father felt thirsty or hungry, she went to the nearby pond to fetch some water or grains. After obtaining some water in the container, she noticed that the water was muddy and fit or unfit for drinking. To purify the water, she kept it for some time and then she filtered or churned the muddy water using a piece of paper or muslin cloth. Leela then cooled or boiled the water for about 10 minutes in a covered pan. After cooling or boiling, she filtered or churned it again and made it fit or unfit for drinking. She served this water to her father while having food, who blessed her and appreciated her efforts. Learning further. Fun with parents. We are proud of our Indian heritage. Under supervision of your elders, try to prepare some herbal remedies using various parts of plants. For example, Tulsi Kadha. Which method of separation will you use while preparing herbal kadha? Stage play. Imagine you and your friend are Malli and Valli. Write dialogues of a play representing their entire Bharat ki yatra, highlighting the different methods of separation of substances that they observed. Enact the play in your school assembly. Group activity. Observe and list separation methods you employed and noticed in your surroundings throughout a week. Explain the reasons behind using these methods and compile the ones you utilized and observed the most. Compare your observations with your group members. Be a stalwart of your community. Interview a rag pickers and prepare a case study about the methods of separation he or she uses in his or her daily life. Encourage the children of your community below the age of 14 to join the neighborhood school. Be a reporter. 1. Gather newspaper clippings and articles related to various methods of separation implemented in your society, such as in agricultural fields or at construction sites. 2. Conduct interviews with local farmers to explore the latest agriculture separation methods that they use. Think like a scientist. You are provided with a mixture of iron nails, sand, black pepper stones, common salt and water. Which steps you will follow to separate each component of a mixture? The given steps may help you to think like a scientist. Reflection steps. I observe dash, I wonder dash. You might have wondered about questions such as which component should I separate first? What method of separation should I use first? How can we separate these components effectively? Will some of the components be soluble in water? What properties of the components can help us in their separation? What is the most appropriate sequence? Activity steps. Some possible answers to the questions which occurred in my mind are dash. I performed the following methods of separation dash. My findings are dash. Hint. A mixture that has more than two components requires a combination of several methods of separation. For more videos, you can subscribe at the rate NCERT video. Thank you.